Everybody, Dave here, Hidden Freedom Investing. In today's video, we're going to go over September dividends received. We're going to get the buys and the sells. We're going to look at the options income for the month of September as well. I normally do a separate video for that, but we're going to put in this video and try to keep it under 20 minutes. That's my goal. So let's go ahead and dig in. All right, we're looking at the agenda for this particular video. This is September update. Today is October 1st, Thursday, October 1st. That puts September in the books. So let's go ahead and talk about the agenda here. We just saw Dividend Mountain. There was a little bit of progress there, and that's due to me selling some silver and then putting in the dividend portfolio. I know the last update from last month, I talked about a real estate note that was getting paid back. Well, I'm still waiting on that. So here it's been about a month and it's still, the house is not closed. But my understanding is that is still in progress. It's still in escrow. So hopefully maybe in October that will go through. And then I'll get that $75,000. If you want to hear a little bit more about that story, you can go look at the last video that I did up here, which is basically just last month video. So that is the news. I haven't received that money from that real estate note yet. But I did put about $15,000 into the portfolio from the sale of that silver. So we got number 2 here, dividend portfolio. So let's go ahead and take a look at the dividend portfolio here. This is the overview page. If you've been following me for quite a while, you know that I created this page for to easily track the dividend portfolio from all of one page, kind of get a status of what's going on here. Right now, I just hit a milestone of $10,000 in annual dividends, and that's a new milestone for me. So $10,340 here. That's a monthly income of $862. Right now we have a total of about $306,000 in the portfolio. And total invested amount is about $300,000, and we have about $6,100 that still needs to get invested. Like I said, I did sell some silver that went into the dividend portfolio, and we still have about $6,000 left to invest, and I'll probably get that invested all of throughout October. If I get that money from that real estate note being paid back, then obviously I'm going to go ahead and invest a lot more during the month of October as well. Right now, the weighted dividend yield across both accounts, because I have 2 accounts, one's a taxable, one's a tax deferred, and we have basically a weighted dividend yield of about 3.44%, and a yield on cost is about 3.64% across both portfolios, and the dividend CAGR, 5-year dividend CAGR, is 8%. The goal is to keep that above at 3.5%, and then the dividend CAGR to keep that above 8%. So we're pretty much on schedule there. And then the average weighted beta, 0.779, almost 0.78, so that's pretty defensive. I'm pretty happy with that. Positions still 34, that's the same as last month. I did not cut any positions, although I did have one position get called away, and we'll talk about that here in a second. So the account goal, if you've been following me for a while, is $1 million for these 2 dividend portfolios, and then we got basically about $693,000 left, or 30% to the goal. So if you've been following me for a while, like I said, I got about $600,000 left in real estate notes. That'll all be going inside this dividend portfolio. That'll bring this to roughly about $900 and something thousand, and then by that point, the growth and some other things will get it up to the $1 million. So I'm not really worried about that. And there's no specific date when those real estate notes are going to get paid off. Some are 30-year notes, some are 15-year notes. I don't expect anybody to hold those long though. So these are the positions in the dividend portfolio. And Vanguard, I talked about that in the last update. Start putting a lot of cash into that. So we're up to $48,000 into VYM, and a total of 600 shares for that particular position. So we're not going to go through every one of these positions in here, and if you want to look at those, you can pause it and look at all of them. The overall portfolio combined is basically both my taxable and tax deferred accounts here in a combined view. So it just adds the shares here and adds the shares here and gives me a combined total of shares here and the combined cost basis for that and everything. So I have it all in one view. I can see both accounts and all in one view, and both accounts have all exactly the same positions in it. All right, scrolling over the right here, let's look at the dividend increases for we had the month of September. And there's quite a few of them in there. So let's see here. So we'll start with, let's go from the top to the bottom here. And we got Starbucks here with a dividend increase, and that was a 9.76% increase from the previous dividend. So that's actually a little bit lower than what we'd expect. The 5-year dividend CAGR is 22%. So it's about half that, and that's, but we're still getting an increase in the middle of the pandemic, so I'm pretty happy with that one. So let's go ahead and clear that flag. That's 1.80 there. The next dividend increase we had was on Verizon, and that was a 2% increase, and that's pretty much right in line, slightly less than what we would expect, but like I said, we're in the middle of a pandemic, so we'll take anything we can get at this point. Still counts, it still increases the actual years that they've increased, so that'll probably put Verizon up to 16 years. I probably need to update that. And so let's go and clear that flag there. That's 2.51. And the next one we had is Realty Income, and Realty Income has actually increased their dividend several times this year already. And this one was a 0.29%, but like I said, they've increased it a couple of times. So let's go ahead and clear that one, 2.81. And that's, we'll have to add them at the end of the year to see whether or not it falls in line. I think they're actually slightly less than that already. I don't even think they're up to 1 or 2% already. So that's, it might be less than what the dividend CAGR shows here, the 5-year dividend CAGR. But we'll add it up at the end of the year and see. And the next one we had here was on Microsoft, and that was a ginormous one. And we had a 9.8% increase on the dividend there, and the 5-year dividend CAGR is 10.45. So it falls in slightly less than what the 5-year dividend CAGR is, but the 1-year and the 3-year are pretty much right in line. So pretty happy with that one, and let's go ahead and clear that one as well, 2.24. So that clears all of the dividend increases that we had for the month of September. So for the month of September, I only had one sell, and that was due to a covered call that got exercised. All right, now if we look over here at covered call, we'll look at the Cisco here, and I'm talking about SYY Cisco. That one got called away at 65 bucks. Now, when I got called away, the stock was about 67.60 or so. So I did leave about, $260 on the table, but that's okay because my cost basis was a lot lower than that. So actually it cost about a $1,600 gain for me. And if I didn't want to take that, or if I didn't want the stock to be called away, that was fine. I could have just, bought the particular call back and then, kept the shares and all that. Would have been fine, but I was okay with it. So yes, that stock, 100 shares of that stock got called away at only one account. And then I turned around on Monday and then bought, 30 shares of that stock back. And the 0.72 is just the leftover remnants of the fractional that from the drip. So I did turn around and buy 30 shares of that particular position back. And then I turned around and took the $4,500 because the $6,500 I got paid, right? I got called away at 65. And then I took that $4,500 and put it into VYM. So, I just basically, decided to put $2,000 back into Cisco. I like the company. I wasn't really willing to get rid of it, but I didn't want to buy, $6,500 back into that particular stock, so I didn't. I just put $4,500 into VYM and then $2,000 into Cisco. Maybe at some point I'll actually dump Cisco completely and then stick the remaining amount into VYM as well. So I didn't do any other sells. That was kind of a forced sell due to the covered calls. So here are all the buys that we did for the month of September. VYM, I spent a lot of cash on VYM. Like I said, if you take that $32,000 there, you subtract about $4,500 of that. That's the actual amount that I deposited into VYM. Because like I said, that Cisco there got called away at 65, so $4,500 went into VYM. And then Cisco there, I put $2,000 into Cisco, and then we got, invested a little bit into T. It was running down near you know, down near the March 23rd low, which, you know, I think was around 28. Got actually into 27 recently. I did a video on T recently if you want to take a look at that up here. And then JPM, I put a little bit of cash into JPM as well. And I think the reason I did that, let's take a look here. See JPM, it was just to get that to above 100 shares, and I started selling covered calls against JPM. And let's see, there's a JPM right there, a covered call, made $9 on it. And then I kind of stopped doing JPM just because they're just, you know, I'm below my cost basis too much to sell covered calls. Yeah, it's come up a little bit, but I'm still down about 6% and 2.7% in this particular account. So maybe I'll look at doing some covered calls maybe next week or so, we'll see. If you want to see me get to 900 in average monthly dividend income, go ahead and like and subscribe and hit that bell notification. So here is the allocation, and this really hasn't changed very much. So this is pretty much right in line where I want everything. Obviously utility is a little bit higher than what we have over here. This is S&P 500 weightings, sector weightings, so I try to keep it pretty close to that, but I do have a lot more utilities. I may reduce those at some point when we get out of the recession, but those are my bonds, and I may just reduce that once we get on the complete downslope. Maybe on a you know, a bull market, maybe I'll decrease that a little bit, put it into maybe some healthcare, maybe some, yeah, maybe just healthcare, maybe a little bit of financials, I don't know, but JPM maybe I'll build up, but we'll see. So here are the dividends received for the month of September. It was, like I said, it was the biggest month I've ever had yet, $1,402 for the month of September. You know, we received some dividends on Intel, Pfizer, Southern Company, Walmart, Johnson & Johnson, Chevron, ExxonMobil, IBM, Microsoft, 3M, Con Ed, McDonald's, Realty Income, Duke, Home Depot, and let's see, VYM is a new one, and Pepsi. So we did receive quite a bit of money on VYM. That was unexpected, actually. I didn't even think I was going to get one that quick. Funny enough, I was looking at that received dividend. It was an unqualified dividend. Now VYM does have qualified dividends, but there is a little bit of caveat there. I think you need to hold it for 60 days, which is not the same as individual stocks. I think individual stocks, you don't have to hold it for 60 days. So that was kind of different. It was unexpected when I saw it was, you know, an unqualified dividend. I was like, what? What's going on here? So by the time the next one comes out in December, it should be a qualified dividend. The next thing we're going to do here is we're going to update the dividends, the $1,402 received. We're going to update the spreadsheet, and we're going to basically write it across this line right here, September, because there's no dividends in there right now for all the individual companies. So we're just going to write that with a script I built from Python or through Python, and to make my job a lot easier. So let's go ahead and do that next here. We're going to see the dividend meter go up as well.
There we go, it's going up. And there we go, all right.
All right, $1,402 has been updated, 17 dividends in total we received in the month of September, and we saw the dividend meter go up as well. So let's go and take a look at the dividends received here. Now you see this line here has got populated, and if we scroll over to the right here, we should have 1402, and we do, and I added this new VYM column there. And then when next year pops up here, because I did reduce a lot of these positions here, I will just, you know, get rid of all those extra columns that I don't need anymore. And then, you know, if I get rid of any next year as well, I will go ahead and reduce those columns as well. But for going forward, we'll just reduce those columns going forward for next year once we get to the end of the year. So right now we're in annual dividends of $39.91, $3,991. That's what we received so far. And so we look at the dividend chart here, $31.91, $39.91, and we got the dividends by month here. September, look at that. It's a humongous month. That's the biggest month yet, and that dwarfs June. Not quite double what June is, but you know, last year, 2019, really, like I said in previous videos, I really wasn't doing a dividend portfolio last year. So this is really the first year I've been doing a dividend portfolio. So I'm doing pretty good. Last year we received $876. This year we're up to $39.91 so far. And we look at the dividends by quarter here. Q3 dwarfs pretty much Q2, almost double what we had in Q2, and we received a total of $2,277 for Q3. And I think, let's see what I say, 1,300. So not quite double, but almost double what we received in Q2. And hopefully Q4 looks pretty good as well. We'll go ahead and look at that here in a second as well. Here is the dividends by year. In 2020, we're up to $3,391. And that, like I said, dwarfs pretty much last year since it wasn't a dividend year. All right, we're looking at the options income. This is a particular Interactive Brokers account. I pretty much only do cash secured puts in this particular account. So for the month of September, I pretty much did a few on Apple there. Because there could be multiple contracts here. I don't actually have the view up here to show how many contracts it was, but so Apple, let's see, Boeing, a couple of Microsofts there, and the bread and butter there is Tesla. All right, so for the month of September, I received over $856 in cash secured put income, and that's a pretty good month for me, so compared to last month. So I have done quite a few options videos. If you want to take a look at that options playlist, you can look at it up here. Here is the second account, and this is all straight cash or covered calls in my Schwab account. And I did a bunch of Apples there, so 4 weeks of Apples, a couple of JP Morgans. I did one leg there. Probably not gonna do a leg again. I just had to go way too far out, like 50 something days. Pretty much every week I do a Microsoft, so there's 4 of those there. A couple of Cokes, and then we got VYM. I'm doing quite a bit of those going forward now. I think I have a bunch open on VYM right now. So there's 4 open on VYM right now, $117, 32 days total in DTE, days to expiration. There's 15 days left on it. And it's 7% from being in the money, so I'm pretty safe there. Next 15 days, I don't think that's going to get above that 7%, so we should pretty good. Going forward, I think I have enough to sell 5 contracts going forward. So as soon as these expire, I'll probably go ahead and sell 5 contracts, and maybe even 6 by then, and we'll keep rolling through those as well. Right now, the cash secured puts side, I do have 2 open on Tesla. Open those today, and we got 1 expires tomorrow. We should be receiving $47 on that one, and it's 9.6% from being in the money. And then we have a one for next Friday expiration, 10/9/2020. And that one is about 20% from being in the money, and received $1.10 for that one, so $110 minus commissions, of course. And normally I keep those. I don't even keep those until they don't expire. Average days held 2.6 days. Okay, across all of these that I've done, so I don't hold them very long. Average trade P&L is about 58%. Like I said, if I get above 50%, I normally just close them and then open a new one that day, or maybe even the next day. I don't normally let them expire all the way. There's only been one so far that I've actually let expire, and that was this one here. For whatever reason, I just let that one expire, but you can see I've bought almost every one of them back for a profit. So here was all the covered calls, and I put the Cisco in there. That was the Cisco there that called away. Like I said, I got called away at $65, and then I received $65.25 because the $25 is the amount of money that I made on the covered call. So in total, we received $856 from the Interactive Brokers account. We received from the Schwab covered calls account $342 in covered calls for the month of September, for a total of $1,198 of options income for the month of September. That's amazing in my opinion. So I'm not really aggressive. If everybody knows me, when I do cash secured puts and covered calls, I'm not really aggressive. Probably being in the money, the average across every one I've sold here and started tracking anyway is about 4.6%. So that's not very aggressive, right? So on the covered call side, my probability of being in the money average is about 7%. I'm just a little bit more aggressive on the call side. A lot of these stocks here are, in the past anyway, just don't go up very much. So I can be a little bit more aggressive on that side. Now Microsoft and Apple, I've been hanging around the 3 to 5, and there's a 6 there. Maybe I might start getting a little bit more aggressive, but the thing is, it's already 4%. That's really a one-day move. 1-day move, it could be in the money. So I like to try to stay around that 5% because 4% move is not that hard in Microsoft or Apple. So that's the thinking behind that anyway. If you're enjoying this dividend update video, go ahead and like and subscribe and hit that bell notification. So we're looking in Schwab, and we're looking at the projected income. I think September, we're all in the books, so 1402, which is what we received. So October, we're looking at roughly about $456. Now that probably will go up, maybe a little bit, I don't know, because I'm going to be continuing to add money to the dividend portfolio through October, which everybody's declared already for October anyway. So that's probably what's locked in, 456. And then November, we're looking at 583. And then December, we should have another big month there at 1515. And let's see, let's go to the next 12 months here. 857 is what we averaging right now per month. We're at $10,284 in annual dividends. That should increase. Like I said, I will continue to add money in October, November, and December as well. And then next year, we're kind of just, all these numbers are going to change because we're going to continue to add some more cash as well. So that pretty much sums up this dividend update for the month of September. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns about anything I've talked about in this video, go ahead and leave a comment below. You can reach me on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook. You can email me as well. Until next month, go ahead and like and subscribe. We'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.